Hello everyone. In today's session, we'll discuss about some new concepts like cyberspace and the law of cybersecurity and how cyber forensics works on. Okay, before moving into this new chapter, we'll discuss about the previous video quiz answers so that we can get an idea about the correct things. Okay, let me take you the previous years like a previous video quiz. Yeah. Coming to seventh question, as we discussed before in previous video, when using a VPN, that's the one thing, like when using a VPN, what is the one thing that you cannot hide from ISPs, hackers, and the government? Okay, so this is the question, and your right answer will be option A. It is the fact that you are using a VPN. Okay, this is the correct option, option A. For the seventh question, the option will be A. And coming to eighth question, yeah, the best way to minimize your digital footprint is. So for this question, your option will be C. Okay, that is post less on social media. So this will be your correct option. Option C will be your correct option. Post less on social media. And for question number 9, what is the most valuable to companies looking to sell you something? So, the most important thing for the company to sell something is your email address. Right? For this ninth question, the option will be B, your email address. Okay. And coming to 10th question, what's the best way to deal with pesky robocalls? Okay. For this question, your option will be use a carrier approved smartphone app. That is option number B. Okay, option B will be your correct option for 10th question. Okay, I will from 7th to 10th question again I will repeat the options, correct option, just recall it. Okay, for 10th question the option will be B. Use the carrier approved smartphone app. And for 8th question the option will be C. Post less on social media. And for ninth question, your option will be B, your email address. And for seventh question, the option will be A, the fact that you are using a VPN. Okay, this is correct quiz answers from the past video. So in today's session, we'll discuss upon the new concepts and also discuss some quiz questions accordingly. Okay, yeah. Coming to your concept like cyberspace and the law and cyber forensics. Okay, what is cyberspace? You have any idea and you have done any projects or internships in cybersecurity previously? If yes, comment below. Okay, yeah, coming to cyberspace, it's nothing but cyberspace can be defined as an intricate environment that involves interaction between people, software, and services. Okay, it is maintained by the worldwide distribution of information and communication technologies, devices, and networks. What does it mean? मतलब cyberspace can be defined as an intricate environment. It's an environment where it involves the interaction between people, software, and services. Okay, these are the kinds of interaction will be there in cyberspace. So it is maintained worldwide distribution of information and communication technology devices and networks. Okay, so this is how it works. And with the benefits carried by the technological advancement, the cyberspace today has become a common tool which is used by the citizens, businesses, critical information, infrastructure, military, and governments. Okay, so that in a fashion that makes it hard to induce the clear boundaries among these different groups. So this is how the cyberspace is related. Okay, This- which is nothing but in short form, The cyberspace is nothing but it's an integrated environment. It's an environment where you can collaborate and interact with your people, software, and services. Okay, it is maintained by the worldwide distribution of information and communication technologies and devices and networks. Okay, this cyberspace is anticipated to become more complex in upcoming years with an increase in networks and devices connected to it. Okay, so because in the future you will be using cyberspace more and more due to the growth of cyber security and the increasing networks. Okay, this is how the cyberspace is related. And coming to regulations, there are five predominant laws to cover when it comes to cybersecurity. Okay, now we'll see upon what are the kinds of laws that covers under the cybersecurity. Okay, first thing that is information technology. Okay, this Information Technology Act was introduced in 2000. Okay, so the Indian cyber laws are governed by the Information Technology Act, which is penned down back in 2000. The principal impetus of this act is to offer the reliable legal inclusiveness to e-commerce and facilitating the registration of real-time records with the government. Got it? So there were five predominant laws that covers the entire laws of cybersecurity. Okay, so firstly, the Information Technology Act, which is done in 2000. So this is governed by the information technology like governed by Indian cyber laws. And yeah, the principal impetus of this act is so the main aim of Information Technology Act is to reliable legal inclusiveness to e-commerce and facilitating registration of real-time records. So it just concludes and just includes the government. But with the cyber attacks getting sneakier, topped by the human tendency to misuse technology, a series of amendments followed, right? A series of amendments followed the ITA enacted by the Parliament of India. ITA is nothing but Information Technology Act that is given by the Parliament of India. What it highlights? It highlights the punishment and penalties which safeguard the e-governance, e-banking, and e-commerce sectors. Okay, now the scope of Information Technology Act has been enhanced to encompass all the latest communication devices. Okay, it encompasses all the latest communication devices. So the IT Act is salient one guiding the entire Indian legislation to govern cybercrimes rigorously. Got it? So you can take a snapshot of this so that you can get in what kind of act has been done in 2000 and how the Indian government and the like people as parliament has been reacted for this so that it highlights the what is the purpose of this ITA for basical usage of safeguarding e-governance, e-banking, e-commerce systems. Okay, and now entering into the entire IT Act, like the Indian legislation to govern cyber crimes. Okay, now entering into the five predominant cyber crimes laws. Okay, coming to section number 43, it's applicable to people who damage the computer systems without permission from the owner. The owner can fully claim compensation for the entire damage in such cases. Got it? It is if the entire computer system is damaged by the attacker, then section number 43 will be the correct act. Coming to section number 66, applicable in case a person is found to dishonestly or fraudulently committing any act referred. Okay, so like if the person is dishonest and fraud making in the particular organization, he is referred in the act in the section 43. Like in section 66, the person involved in fraud activities and dishonestly doing the works and breaking the entire computer system, then it comes to section 66. Okay. The imprisonment term in such instances can mount up to 3 years or fine of up to 5 lakh will be there. Okay. So 5 lakh and 3 years of mount up. These are the punishments given in section 66. And yeah, under like another section like section, yeah, section 66B, it incorporates the punishments for fraudulently receiving stolen communication devices or computers, which conform probably 3 years imprisonment. This term can also be topped by 1 lakh fine depending upon the severity. Okay, section number 43, section number 66, section number 66B. Right, these are very cruel activities done by the attackers, or if the person is involved in this, they may get some punishments regarding this section. Coming to section number 66C, this section criticizes the identity thefts related to imposter digital signatures, hacking password, or other distinctive identification features. If proven guilty, imprisonment of 3 years might also be backed by 1 lakh fine. Okay, these are the kind of ways that Information Technology Act has been undergone. Okay, so the last one will be Section 66D. So this section was inserted on demand, focusing on punishing cheaters doing the impersonating or some impersonation using computer resources. Okay, this is also a kind of section 66G where the person will doing the illegal works, then they may get the punishment. See here, you can see there are the five predominant laws. First one is section 43, and second one will be section 66. Under section 66, you may have 66B, 66C, and 66D. Okay, just make a note on it, and I'll giving you 2 minutes of time. Just make a note on it. And yes, now coming to the Indian Penal Code IPC 1980, you can see here. Just remember, it's an Indian Penal Code IPC 1980. So it's here the identity thefts and associated cyber frauds are embodied in the Indian Penal Code. Okay, so 1960. So that is invoked along with Information Technology Act, which is which is published in 2000. Along with that, it also established. Okay, the primary relevant section of IPC covers cyber frauds. Okay, like forgery. Section 464, it's forgery. And section 468 is for forgery pre-plan for cheating. Section 465 is for false documentation. And presenting a forged document as genuine is section 471. Reputation damage comes under section 469. Companies Act of 2013. Okay, I think you got an idea of Indian Penal Code. Just take a snapshot of this. You can get how sections are divided under forgery, cheating, false documentation, damage, these kind of activities. Okay, yeah. Now coming to the next thing, Companies Act of 2013. It's nothing but the corporate stakeholders refer to the Companies Act of 2013 as the legal obligation necessary for the refinement of daily operations, right? So the directives of this act cements all the required techno-legal compliances, putting the less compliant companies in a legal fix. This is how it works for Companies Act of 2013. Okay, and the Companies Act also vested powers in the hands of SFIO. What is this SFIO means? That is a Serious Frauds Investigation Office. So, for what reason? To prosecute Indian companies and their directors. Okay. Also, post the notification of companies inspection, investment, and inquiry rules. Okay, that is 2014. And the Serious Frauds Investigation Office has become even more proactive and stern in this regard. And this is how it works in Companies Act of 2013. And the legislature ensured that the regulatory compliances are well covered, including the cyber forensics, e-discovery, and cyber security diligence. So the companies like the management and the administration roles in 2014 prescribes strict guidelines confirming the cybersecurity obligations and responsibilities upon the company directors and leaders. Okay, so yeah, this is how it works. Just take a snapshot of this. Now coming to NIST compliance, that is the cybersecurity framework. Okay, that is known as NCFS. NCFS is the cybersecurity framework authorized by the this entire framework of cybersecurity is authorized by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Okay, that is NIST, that offers a harmonized approach to cybersecurity as most reliable global certifying body. Okay, so this National Institute of Standards and Technology cybersecurity framework encompasses all required guidelines, standards, and best practices to manage the cyber-related risk responsibly. This framework is also prioritized on the flexibility and cost effectiveness. It promotes the resilience and protection of critical infrastructure by allowing better interpretation, managing and reduction of cybersecurity risk, and to mitigate data loss, data misuse, the subsequent restoration cost, which determines the most important activities and the critical operations. To focus on securing them demonstrates the trustworthiness of organizations who secure critical assets, and that helps to prioritize the investments to maximize the cybersecurity ROI. Okay, that is addresses regulatory and contractual obligations supports. Okay. So by combining this NIST CSF framework with ISO IEC 27001, the cybersecurity risk management becomes simplified. So it makes communication easier throughout the organization and across the supply chains. There are some cybersecurity directive led by NIST. Okay. So take understand this list complaints and just comment me if you have any queries. The final thoughts as human dependence on technology intensifies. The cyber laws in India across the globe need constant upgradation and refinements, right? So this kind of how to say the pandemic has also pushed much of the workforce into remote working model, so that increasing the need of app security. So the lawmakers have to go the extra mile to stay ahead of imposters in order to block them at their advent. Similarly, the cybercrimes can be controlled, but it needs collaborative efforts of lawmakers and internet network providers. So the intercessors like banks and shopping sites, most importantly the users, only the prudent efforts of these stakeholders ensures the confinement to the law of the cyberland so that they can bring about online safety and resilience. Okay, this is how cyber laws is safeguarded and protecting the entire things. Coming to the role of international laws. In various countries, areas of computing and communication industries are regulated by governmental bodies. There are specific rules on the uses to which computers and computer networks may be put in, right? So there are rules and unauthorized access, data privacy, spamming, and also some limits of use of encryption and equipment which may be used to defect, copy, and protect these schemes, right? So there are laws governing trade and the internet taxation, consumer protection, and advertising. There are also laws on censorship versus freedom of expression, rules on public access to government information, and individuals need to access the information held on them by private bodies. Some states limit access to internet by law as well as by technical means. So international law for cybercrime. Cybercrime is international, that there are no cyber borders between the countries. The complexity in types and forms of cybercrime increases the difficulty to fight back. So, fighting cybercrime calls for international cooperation. Various organizations and governments have already made joint efforts in establishing that global standards of legislation and law enforcement, both on regional and on international scale, right? This is how it works in international law for cybercrime. Now, coming to the Indian cyberspace. The Indian cyberspace was born in 1975 with the establishment of National Informatics Center, that is NIC, with an aim to provide government with IT solutions. Three networks were set up between 1986 to 1988 to connect various agencies of government. So these networks are Indonet, which connected with IBM mainframe installations that made up India's computer infrastructure. Okay, the nationwide a very small aperture terminal network for public sector organizations as well as to connect the central government with state government and district administrations. So the third network setup and the EdNet. EdNet is nothing but the education and research network to serve the academics and research communities. So the new internet policy of 1998 paved a way for services from multiple internet service providers and gave boost to internet. Okay, so grow from 1.4 million to 1999 to over 150 million by December 2020. 2012. So, exponential growth is attributed to increasing the internet access through mobile phones and telephones like tablets. The government is making a determined push to increase the broadband penetration from its present level of 6%, right? The target for broadband is 160 million by 2016 under the National Broadband Plan. Okay. Similarly, this is for Indian cyberspace, right? Similarly, you can see for national cyberspace security, like cybersecurity policy. A national cybersecurity policy is a policy framework by Department of Electronics and Information Technology. It aims to protect the public and private infrastructure from the cyber attacks. The policy also intends to safeguard information such as personal information of web users, financial and banking information, sovereign data. This was particularly relevant in the wake of US National Security Agency NSA that leaks suggested US government agencies are spying on Indian users who have no legal or technical safeguards against it. The Ministry of Communications and Information Technology defines cyberspace as a complex environment so that consistency and interaction between the people, software services supported by worldwide distribution of information and the communication technology. Okay, this is how the national cybersecurity policy works. Take a snapshot of this and let's move on to the other one. Now coming to the vision, mission, and objective. So, what's the mission of national cyber security policy? To build a secure and resilient cyberspace for citizens, businesses, and government, and also to protect anyone from intervening in users' privacy. Okay, this is what mission. Coming to mission, to protect information and infrastructure in cyberspace. Okay, so mission builds capabilities to prevent and respond to cyber threats, reduce vulnerabilities, and minimize the damage from cyber incidents, like through a combination of institutional structures, people, processes, technology, and cooperation. Coming to objectives of national cybersecurity policy, objectives include the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology define objectives as here to create a secure cyber ecosystem in the country, generate adequate trust and confidence in IT system and transactions, thereby enhancing the adoption of IT in all sectors of the economy. The second one is to create an assurance framework for the design of security policies and promotion, like enabling the global security base by product, process, technology, people. Third one is to strengthen the regulatory framework for ensuring a secure cyberspace ecosystem. Fourth one will be to enhance and create national sectoral level 24 by 7 mechanism for obtaining the information regarding threats to ICT infrastructure. That is by creating scenarios for response, resolution, crisis management through effective prediction, preventive and protective response and recovery reaction. This is how the objectives, mission and vision will go. Coming to the introduction of cyber forensics, before moving to that, just make a eye on it, like just recall these things. And yes, coming to cyber forensics is an application of investigation and analysis techniques to gather and preserve evidence. The name itself, you can see it's an investigation, forensics, right? So it's an investigation and analyzing techniques. to gather and to preserve the evidence. Okay. So forensic examiners typically analyze data from personal computers, laptops, personal digital assistants, cell phones, servers, tapes, and any other type of media. This process can involve anything from breaking encryption to execute search warrants, like with a law enforcement team, and to recovering the analyzing files from hard drives, and it will be a critical evidence in most serious civil and criminal cases. Okay, and now the forensic examination of computers and data storage media is complicated and highly specialized process. Okay, the results of forensic examinations are compiled and included in reports. In many cases, the examiners testify to their findings, where their skills and abilities are put to ultimate scrutiny. Okay, so the digital forensics is defined as the process of preservation, identification, extraction, and documentation of computed evidence which can be used by court of law. It is a science of finding evidence from digital media like computer, mobile phone, server, or network, provides the forensic team with best techniques and tools to solve complicated digital related cases. Yes? Yeah. Because it's a science of finding the evidence, okay? Where you can find evidence like computer, mobile phone, server, or network. And digital forensics helps the forensic people to analyze, inspect, identify, and to preserve the entire digital residing of various types of electronic devices, right? So this forensics is a branch of science that focuses on the recovery and investigation of material found in the digital devices, which is related to the cybercrime. Got it? So what's the need for computer forensics? Why we are using it? Is an important because it is save your organization money from a technical standpoint. The main goal of computer forensics is to identify, collect, preserve, and analyze the data in a way that preserves the integrity of the evidence. So you can collect it from the various networks. It can be used effectively in legal case, right? Yeah. Similarly, you can see this cyber forensics and digital evidence. Digital evidence is information stored or transmitted in binary form that may be relied on with code. Can be found on a computer hard drive, a mobile phone, among other places. Digital evidence is commonly associated with electronic crime or e-crime, such as child pornography or credit card fraud. So, however, digital evidence is now used to prosecute all types of crimes, not just e-crime. For example, suspects' email or mobile phone might all contain this kind of critical evidences regarding the intent. Okay. And for example, a floppy disk led investigators to the BTK serial killer who had eluded police capture since 1974 and claimed the lives at least 10 victims. So, in an effort to fight e-crime and to collect the relevant digital evidences for all other crimes, the law enforcement agencies are incorporating the collection and analysis of the digital evidences, also known as the computer forensics, into their infrastructure. Law enforcement agencies are challenged by the need to train officers to collect the digital evidence and keep up with rapidly evolving technology such as computer operating systems. So, this is how the digital evidence is there. Take a just revise all these things. We'll move on to next thing. Now coming to the next thing, the forensics analysis of email. So email forensics refers to the study of source and content of email. Okay. So you can see the various approaches that are used for email forensics. Okay. The study involves investigation of metadata, keyword searching, bot scanning, and some authorship attribution and identification of email scams. Okay. The various approaches are header analysis, bait tactics, server investigation, network investigation, software embedded identifiers. Okay. Up to now, we'll see on these types. Okay. So coming to various approaches of email forensic, we'll see on this video, and after that, we'll move on to the quiz questions of today's session. Yeah, header analysis. Metadata in the email message in the form of control information. Okay, that is envelope and headers include headers in the message body containing information about the sender and path along which the message has been traversed. Okay, and yeah, this is the header analysis. Coming to bait tactics. In bait tactic investigation, the email with HTTP link you can see here HTTP tag having image source that computers monitored investigations and it's sent to the sender of email under investigating some real email address. Okay. So for example, if the proxy server's log is unavailable due to some reason, the investigators may send the tactic email that containing embedded Java applet that runs on the receiver's computer. Okay. This is how it works on the bait practice, an HTML page with ActiveX object, both aiming to extract IP address of the receiver's computer and email it to investigators. Okay, just recall all these concepts once again, then move on to the next one. Now moving to the server investigation. In this investigation, copies of delivered emails and server logs are investigated to identify the source of an email message. Okay, the email purged from the claims and whose recovery is impossible may be requested from the servers, as most of them store a copy of that. Right? Yeah, and yes. The further SMTP service stores the data like credit card number and other things is also like data retained by the entire person behind an email address. So also the network device investigation. In this form of email investigation, logs maintained by the network devices such as routers, firewalls, and switches are used to investigate the source of email message. This form of investigation is complex and is used when the logs of servers are unavailable due to some reason. Example, when ISP or proxy does not maintain a log or lack of cooperation of ISP, so that it may fail to maintain the chain of evidence. So this is how the network device investigation. Coming to server investigation, similarly the SMTP. SMTP is nothing but mail server. Mail server stores the data like credit card number, and the mailbox can be used to identify the person behind an email address. Software embedded identifiers. Some information about the creator of email, attached files, or documents may be included with the message of email software, which is used by the sender for composing email. The information may be included in the form of customer headers or MIME content as transport, neural, and encapsulation. Okay. Example, the investigation can reveal PST file names, Windows logo, username, MAC address. These kind of things will be released by software embedded identifiers. And sender mailer fingerprints. What does this sender mailer fingerprints do? It's nothing but it's an identification of software handling. Email at server can be revealed from the received header field, and identification of the software handling by the client and using different set of headers like xmailer equivalent to that. So this information about the client computer of the sender can be used to help in investigators where the devices of an effective plan and thus prove to be very useful. Okay, this is how the approach is. Just make a view on this. There's also covered these kind of questions also. And yes, now coming to the end of the session, we'll see in next video. Like next video, we will be seeing on the digital forensic life cycle. Before that, we'll end up this video by email forensic tools. So, what kind of email forensic tools have been used now? Something but erasing or deleting an email doesn't necessarily mean that it's gone forever, right? So, often emails can be forensically extracted and for retrieving information from mailboxes files, right? So, might take mail weaver and OST, PST Weaver, Email Tracker Pro, Email Tracer. These are the four kinds of forensic tools they have been using. First one, MyTech Mail Weaver is nothing but for Outlook Express, Windows Mail, and Mozilla. So this displays a list of messages with all properties like ordinary email client. So messages can be viewed in a detailed way, including the attachments and an HTML preview. It has powerful searching and filtering capability and also allows extracting email addresses from all emails in open folder to one click. Selected messages can be saved to EML files with or without their attachments. So attachments can be extracted from selected messages by one command. Okay, this is how the MyCheck Mail Weaver works. Coming to the OST and PST Weaver, it's a nucleus technologies. So these tools helps you to view files without connecting to MX Exchanger server. This tools allows to scan the files to display the data like contacts, calendars, notes, in the proper folder. And the next one is Email Tracker Pro. It analyzes the header of an email to detect the IP address of machine that is sent to the sender or not. So it tracks the entire details and key information, whether the validity of email message is there or not. And the last one is Email Tracer. Email Tracer in an Indian effort in cyber forensics by Resource Center for Cyber Forensics. Okay, it's a premier center for forensics in India. It develops cyber forensic tools based on the requirements of law enforcement agencies. Okay, this is how it happens. So just read entire things properly, so we'll get an idea about it. Okay, yeah, read this properly. Then move on to our. We'll end up this session and we'll move on to the quiz section. And yes, now we'll move on to our quiz. So in today's session, we'll discussed about cyberspace and what are the laws and how the forensics helps international forensic and national. So these kind of activities and evidence. Okay, and the tools used for email forensic and the approaches. These are the contents we have been used and discussed here. Now moving on to the quiz, you can see here our quiz like yeah. Coming to the 11th question, just comment me your answer in the comment box. We'll share the correct answers in the next video. Which organization is the most vulnerable to hacking? Charitable organization with weak cybersecurity? Option B, black market websites with strong cybersecurity? Option C, your business. Which is the correct one? Just think. Next question. 12th question. When is it okay to reuse the password? Option A, when you are logging into social media accounts. Option B, when it is too hard to remember a long password. Option C, never. Just think and reply me back. And the third question, like 13th question will be, what should you do if you think your identity or accounts have been compromised? Monitor your email address and accounts. Monitor your email address and accounts for fraudulent activity. Respond to warning email you have received. Subscribe to monitoring services such as LifeLock or WebWatcher. These three options, reply the correct options in the comment box. And question number 14. The best defense against the ransomware is being proactive when you option A, purchase comprehensive cybersecurity insurance. Option B, backup your data regularly. Option C, regularly update all your devices and software with the latest security patches. Comment me down your correct answer. And coming to 15th question, what's the best way to steer clear of IoT device security hacks? Option A, only choose name brand hardware makers. Option B, disconnect IoT devices from the internet when you are not using them. Option C, do not purchase any IoT devices you do not need. So just take everything snapshots properly and we'll discuss the answers in the next video. Okay, take the snapshot of 15th question and let me know the answer properly. And this is the 14th question. And this is the 13th question. And yes, this is the 12th question. And yes, this is your 11th question. Okay, so just go through all these questions and comment me down below the answer. Thank you for this session. Thank you.